Um, Hello and welcome back to the Paper Soprano podcast. I am your podcast host and my name is Heidi. And it is nice to sit down and chat with you guys. I am proud and elated to report that we had some actual human interaction today, and it was amazing. I hung out outside, nice and socially distanced, with my friend Michael today. Hey Michael, what's up girl? How you doing? And it was so much fun. Oh my god. Like I was having such a great time just like chatting, and we actually ran into some other friends who were hanging out, like not hanging out, they were walking past, and it was like kind of an in passing thing. Like today we were chatting like about the fact that it's kind of crazy how that whole like, oh my god, hey, how's it going? Like that run into someone kind of vibe hasn't really been a thing in a real long time. And that happened today, which is so amazing. Just beautiful, wonderful, fantastic. I can't even really tell you how like special it is. And if anything, this pandemic has taught me not to take social interactions for granted. I know that probably once things start getting back to normal, I will likely go back on that because I do get very frustrated very easily. I'm a very like impatient person sometimes, so that's hard for me when people start like chatting me up or whatever and I have to do something, or if I'm, you know, not necessarily wanting to talk to someone, which is very seldom, but it does happen. But you know what I mean. Like it's tough sometimes because you're like, oh, you know, I really want to chat, I really want to hang out, but I don't want to. Like that was like before the pandemic. But now it's literally like you see somebody that you know and you like cry and like want to hug them so bad, but you're like, oh my god, I'm so excited. Like thank you so much for being here. Like thanks for being alive and like standing right in front of me. Like, you know. Oh, you guys. I also was very excited because I went to the gym today and it is not a Friday and I've pretty much just been going on Fridays, but I went with Kat and it was very same deal. I've talked about this spiel quite a bit here, but I just want to be clear. This is a very safe gym. You know, everybody has to wear masks. Everything is sanitized. There's employees walking around constantly sanitizing things. Everyone, like, you can literally watch someone, like, follow their track and, like, they will sanitize the machines. Like I said, everybody keeps their masks on. It's pretty much the same thing as going to the grocery store, in my opinion. There's directions on the ground. There's a certain number of people that can't be, you know, that have to be counted to be in the building. Blah, blah, blah. I just feel obligated to say that because I feel like some people will be like, ugh, she's going to the gym. Like, ew, not respecting things. And I'm like, listen, you know, I also live alone. Literally, I do not live with any other persons. But also don't come for me because my landlord's literally attached to my apartment. So technically not alone. I'm just alone in this apartment. But I do have, like, somebody here, so don't try and murder me, okay? Thanks. Cool. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm trying to think of what I wanted to tell you guys today. Oh, God. Oh, I wanted to tell you about this one creator. Her name is Melissa. She goes by Chunkysdead, and she's just hilarious. Very, very funny individual. Has a very unique style of comedy. Like, I feel like it's very, like 18 plus. Like, do not go search for her if you're under the age of 18 or if you are a parent and you're concerned. Probably not the best content for your child. Just saying. But also, you know, it is what it is. Comedians have to be what they want to be, and sometimes that creates controversy. So, not saying that Melissa has a terrible amount of controversy, but her comedy style is definitely like, you know, sometimes a little bit shocking, which is part of the reason why I personally like it. And also, I think that something that draws me to her as a comedian and just as a creator, she's very real about the fact that she is on like a journey to not hate herself and like to just like get to the place where she like likes herself, and then like after that, like I think I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but it's not what you think. It's not all like, oh, I love myself. I'm on a journey. I'm journeying to love myself. Like, no, she's real about it, and she comes out of the like shock value comedy mentality to talk to people about it, talk to her audience in a brief video. I think it's really nice. And actually, I haven't watched her most recent video that I think she just posted today, which I will probably after this podcast, but I don't know, if you're looking for someone to be real with you and talk about their journey on like self-loathing to self-hatred to self-neutral to self-like to eventually self like appreciate and self-love, like that's a time. That's a long amount of time that there's these little steps in between like self-hatred to self-love, and I think that some people like they just gloss over that and they're like, just love yourself, like just love yourself. Okay, cool, yeah, let me just jump right into that really quick. Like sometimes I can't even stand myself. Like how on earth am I gonna just jump right into self-love? Like that's such a ridiculous task for someone to just be like, some influencer on Instagram to be like, oh yeah, just like love yourself, guys, self-care Sunday. Like, get out of my face. Okay? Like, so this creator is very real about it, and I appreciate her content and I appreciate her existence and her sharing her journey, because I know that she has experienced some trauma in the past, as we all have, but she's open about it, which is really cool to me. And I think that more people should be okay with the fact that we all have demons, we all have skeletons in our closets, and we all should be more accepting of the fact that other people have these problems, and then maybe that will lead us to being accepting of ourselves eventually. I also want to talk about another creator that I really like. Her name is Lindy, and she also goes by Bubzbeauty, Bubzbeauty. She was really popular. Like, she had her, like, real popular channel with Bubzbeauty. It was, like, a makeup channel and stuff a couple years ago. And she is now going through a difficult time. Like, I think she's, like, on the upswing of it. And she's also been very open about her difficulties. She's actually going through a divorce. And she is divorced, so like it already happened. This has been a while. She's actually seeing somebody new, and she had been recently getting some hate on the internet about how she like blocked some people because they were being nasty to her. And this woman is not just like, oh, I'm an influencer. Like, she's like a full ass grown woman. Like, and she has 2 children. 2 small children who, they need their mom. They need someone to take care of them. They need someone strong. And that person decided to block people because she just didn't want to deal with their hate. And then, like, I guess the whole story is somebody, like, created a fake account and, like, went in and messaged her again. And, like, she got really upset about it. So then she told the whole thing, like, the whole elaborated story. So that's how I know about it. But, like, I think that's really messed up. And there's a lot of layers to it, but here's a person, right? Here's a person who is choosing to share their life, which is great. Whatever you want to do, great. And here's someone who's saying, oh, you're going through this thing? Get over it. Like the hater, I guess we'll call them, the hater was kind of just saying like, the fact that you're blocking people to deal with your problems, like, shows that you're really immature and you're really this, you're really that. Like, why can't you just deal with people who criticize you? Like, you put your life on the line. You're putting your life on the internet. Why can't you deal with this? Why can't you deal with people? And here's the thing. She doesn't have to. Like, yes, she puts her life out as, like, content, and she is, like, living her life in the public eye, pretty much, via YouTube. She's not, like, Meghan Markle or anything, but, like, she's putting her life out there as content for people to consume, and that's her choice. But it's also her choice to block you. Like, why do we think that people are just obligated to argue? Why do people have to fight back? What if when you said something stupid to someone or when you're nasty to someone, that person just goes, okay, and blocks you? Like, that doesn't mean that they're weak or that they're a bad mother or that they're, like, being a bad example for people, like cancel culture. She's not canceling anyone. She's continuing her life and just moving on. And I think that's really something that I don't envy it, but I enjoy it. I think that it's a good thing. I think that that's amiable, like that, the fact that she was able to just block and move on. And it's unfortunate that that person made another account and was, like, attacking, her in another way, and she had to make a whole big stink about it, because I think that if that person didn't do that second step, then she wouldn't have had to go into it and get upset about it. But people have limits. These people who you see who are in the public eye, like Meghan Markle, like, that reminds me, oh, surprise, like, she's just a person. She is just a human being, and she deserves, everything that you deserve. And just because she happens to be on display, in a way, doesn't mean that people get to dictate how she feels or her feelings or whatever. Like, what the hell? I just get so spooked about this kind of thing, because it's, like, kind of triggering, in a way. Like, not to be like, I'm triggered, but, like, it is. When someone invalidates you, you start questioning yourself, and then you start spiraling, and you're like, am I the crazy one? Am I faking it? Am I doing something that's not right here? Should I just, battle with everyone until I can't speak, until I'm blue in the face? Like, should I just do what this person tells me to do? Like, that's difficult to stomach sometimes. And I think that if I could give any insight on this, for me personally, what I take away from it is you only know your own experiences, and you have to trust yourself and be like, no, this person is saying something to me. They're very passionate about it. They're angry. They feel this way. They're feeling this way so much that they're going out of their way to tell me how they feel. A random stranger will go out of their way to tell me, and it's my job to trust myself enough and to, like, full circle here, to love yourself enough to be like, yeah, sorry, blocked, done, close the book. No one is forcing you to respond. And I've had to do that in a couple of different instances in my life, which have been very hard for me. Oh my God. Because I have such a hard time not saying something, not responding. And that might be from when I was, like, younger or whatever, and I just felt like I always needed to have the last word to be validated, or to be right, or to be stronger or better, or, to be valid. Felt like I needed to have the last word. So maybe that's where that comes from, but I think that I'm noticing in myself now that I have more power when I don't have the last word. It's almost like the opposite. Like when you're singing and you're trying to get a high note, you're trying to get up there, you're trying to, get through the passaggio, or you're trying to sing something crazy, I don't know. And you have to let go of control to get control. You have to release, you have to let it go. Because sometimes when you manipulate something so much, it becomes arbitrary, and the motions become unorganic, I don't know. I think that's something that I found really interesting, and I found it so interesting that I wrote it down and wanted to talk about it today. So there you go. Yeah, so check out those two creators. I think they're very wholesome and in totally different ways. Oh my god, like Chunkysdead she's crazy, but like crazy in a wholesome way, you know? Like she's literally insane, like killing it in terms of her TikTok content and her Instagram content and her YouTube content. And it still makes me laugh. I like it for some reason. And Lindy Bubs, you know, she makes very, very accessible, wholesome, like family-friendly content, and she's very much like kind of sweet and like approachable feeling, whereas like Melissa is the opposite. But I love them both equally. Like I appreciate people who create things. And I think it's wrong to try and compare people and compare their content and say one is better, one is worse. And same thing goes with music. I was talking to someone the other day about my boy, Jacob Collier, and we were just talking about how he is so unapologetic about being whatever it is that happens to be in that mind of his. Like, he just puts his thoughts out and just like creates, and that technology aspect of it and the whole like perfect storm of using acoustic instruments, and like he doesn't feel like he needs to go in any specific direction. It's very broad. He has like a very large palette of things that he does, and nobody's like mad about it, you know? Like nobody's like, "Oh, I wish he would just like do one thing. Like it's so annoying that he like can't settle down, or like he plays the piano, like just play the piano," you know? And of course nobody's saying that because he's just so good. Like, how could you be upset? But like, you know what I mean? Like, some people are like, you know, I don't like when people try and do a lot of little things. Like a lot of little things here and there. I want someone to be, you know, good at just one thing. And I don't know. I think that doing what you want to do in that moment is so empowering because it's difficult, and other people have expectations of you. Other people have expectations that, you know, you're a singer and you have to sing. You have to sing classical music. You're an opera singer. You have to sing this. And if you sing any other genre, I don't know if I'm going to trust you, kind of invalidating you right now and being like, sorry, you know, I don't care that you're trying something new or you're a beginner and you're doing your best, and, you know, it's not groundbreaking, but it's, you know, it's fine. It is, but stick to opera. Oof, you know, oh God. That is so lame. Like, that whole mentality of like, don't do anything that's out of your box because, you know, you might fall flat on your face. Spoiler alert, you will. And that's the point. Sometimes you gotta eat your vegetables and you gotta eat that slice of humble pie because like it's gonna make you a better person. And I know a lot of people who are afraid to try different things and try new things and push the boundaries and stretch things and really mold your musical ideas like Jacob does, because he really pushes things. And for us plebeians, for us normal people, like for us regular humans, we don't have the, like, you know, not all of us, some of us might, but we don't have the skills and the alien-like gifts that Jacob Collier does. So no one's expecting you to go that far. But it's just it's a mural, you know, he's pushing those boundaries. So can you, you know? Start singing contemporary music. Sing that one real weird song that your friend wrote that you like, and your friend's like a composer and they write far out stuff. Sing it and record it or perform it. If you are doing musical theater and you're like, oh no, I only sing musical theater, like, sorry, I'm big into musical theater, but you one day are like, you know, I think I want to start singing opera. I think I want to start singing opera. Then do it. Like, don't let the expectation that you have created this image for yourself hold you back from the things that you truly want to do in that moment. Because you can't predict it. And if you try and put yourself in this box of like, I'm never going to, do anything else, then that just puts so much pressure on what you're doing right now, and it's probably not going to be that good because of that pressure. Can you guys hear my soup? Oh my god, I gotta take a sip. It's bubbling. It's simmering. And yes, if you're saying, Heidi, why are you eating soup every day? I just want to, okay? I just want to eat soup every day. I don't know why, but I have to. It's just so good. Soup is great. It's warm. It's salty. It's good, okay? God, it's like the perfect thing after, it's like tea, but for nighttime. And with things in it. In the morning, I drink tea, okay? I like a hot beverage, a scalding hot beverage. I like to be awoken with a burned esophagus, apparently. And then at night, I like the same thing in reverse. I like also a burning hot esophagus, but maybe I'll put some lentils in it. Let's mix things up. Ooh, you guys. It's getting to that point where it's time to read. Okay, let's do it. If you're new to this podcast, welcome. Thanks for being here. Oh my god, I just got a Twitch notification. Adam Neely is live. Okay, gotta go because I gotta watch this live. If you don't know who Adam Neely is, figure it out, girl. He's got a Twitch stream. Go listen to it. He goes live and talk. Who's he talking with right now? Oh, hold on. Now I have to tell you. This is like breaking news coming in live. Adam Neely is on Twitch. He's streaming. Let's see. Ben Levin. Oh my god. Okay, so he's live with Ben Levin and some other dudes. I can't see because it's, you only get a couple things. A couple words on the little preview. And I'm not about to watch an ad because we have to read. All right, you guys, let's see who's next. This is our segment here if you're new to the podcast. If you're new, we do a segment every day where we read from this book that I have, this old, crispy book that's falling apart and smells like moths. And it is called Minute Sketches of Great Composers, aka Heidi Reads About Dead White Guys. So yesterday we read about Puccini, and today, we read about Pietro Mascagni. 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 His subtitle is To Whom Success Came Too Suddenly. And this is one of those spooky ones because his dates are blank. Like, his death date is blank, although this person is definitely dead now. Born September 7th, 1863, and there is no death date. So at this time, when this was written in the 30s, he was still alive, which is kind of remarkable for that time, but cool. Let's get into it. Waking up one fine morning to find himself famous when Cavalleria Rusticana won a prize was evidently most upsetting as an experience for the young Pietro Mascagni. For, from that day to this, he has never produced another work of musical distinction. Oof, rough. Beginning with the parental opposition which seems to goad so many men to success, he proved himself worthy of a musical education to an irate father who had destined him for the law, and was sent by a faithful uncle to the Conservatory of Milan, where he had become one of the most famous quartet, of which Puccini was also a member. Oh, he became a member of one of the most famous quartets. Okay. After a few years of making more personal history than music, he suddenly disappeared. No one knew where or why. to reappear 5 years later with a wife and a half-finished opera score and the confession that he had been strolling about the country with a traveling opera troupe as conductor, learning from experience about orchestration and the theater what it had irked him to learn in the conservatory classroom. Hearing of a competition for a one-act opera to be produced in Rome, free of expense to the composer, Mascagni hurriedly prepared a score for a drama which his librettist sent him scene by scene and rushed it in at the last moment. That was in March of 1980. In May, Cavaliera, God damn, I can pronounce Italian, I promise you, was produced at the Costanzi Theatre in Rome, an instant success. The populace and critics hailed him as Verdi's successor, and the king made him a Chevalier of the Order of the Crown of Italy. An honor not accorded his predecessor until a ripe old age. His return to the town of Leghorn, where he was born December 7th, 1863, was a kind of triumphal procession, the entire population turning out to greet him in a city illuminated and decorated as if for a festival. Even Wagner welcomed the crisp, refreshing quality of this little curtain raiser, which gave audiences tunes to carry home as the current, more richly orchestrated scores had not done so in many years. It has never met with anything but success and popularity wherever it has been played, and it has set the fashion for one-act operas ever since. I have never heard of this opera. Rest in peace. But maybe we'll look it up. Since then, there is little to record. Iris, a 3-act opera on a Japanese theme, had been produced at the Metropolitan twice in an interval of 16 years. Le Masquer, produced in 7 cities simultaneously and hissed off the boards in 5. And finally, La Pinotta, which he conducted the premiere in Milan in 1932, 53 years after he wrote the score and presented it to his landlady in part payment of a board bill. The manuscript, which was found in an old trunk by her nephew, caused a flurry of excitement much more sentimental than musical. The only thing I'm really drawing from this, obviously I don't recognize this composer and I don't recognize this opera, but besides all that, the fact that he disappeared for 5 years, what a thing to happen in the late 1800s, just to disappear and literally no one knows where you're at. Come on, how late 1800s is that? And he was traveling with a troupe of opera people, traveling opera troupe, and he was the conductor. Okay. All right, we're gonna put that aside because my soup is going to be just the ingredients and no water because she's been simmering for 20 minutes. All right, people, this of course has been the Paper Soprano podcast. If you want to support this podcast, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel here. I put out a new video every single day. And you can comment, let me know down below what's your favorite kind of soup, because mine's any kind. And you can like this video if you want. Obviously, no press at all, ever. But yeah, there's that. And I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night whenever you happen to be listening to this. And I appreciate you being here. Thanks for listening and being on the other end of this little daily chat. All right, love you, mean it. Gotta go tend to my soup. Bye.